I got bullied. I dealt with it by making movies.
One of the greatest directors of our time, a man who does not bark, doesn't beg, just observes before making that key decision, crafting cinematic euphoria. The hardest part isn't getting what you want, it's knowing what you want. And once he knows, he doesn't drift, he doesn't dither, he just chooses, and the choice becomes the film. For 5 decades, he's taught us how movies feel, building worlds, rewriting memory, directing more icons than anyone still working, and somehow making it look effortless. But behind the spectacle is a quieter power, his instinct for the one face that fits, the one voice he trusts, the one performance that tilts a scene into place. He doesn't just cast talent, he casts gravity. And when the trust is full, when the partnership clicks, the labor disappears. What remains feels close to myth. He's worked with hundreds. Only a few never left his orbit, the ones who gave him everything, and got back something rarer. Here are the 6 he holds above headlines and hype, and why no one else ever replaced them. Charm can be a mask. With him, it's a motor, and Spielberg knows exactly how to drive it. DiCaprio sells the dream at 20 paces, then pays for it up close. A con that's really a wound, a smile that's really a plan. Every December the performance cracks, the boy calls the cop because there's nobody else, and the chase turns into a conversation, 2 men keeping each other from falling through the floor. Spielberg understands the ache behind the charm, the kid playing adult, the son playing father. It's make-believe with a heartbeat, and DiCaprio calibrates the hurt to a hair's breadth. Never begging, never blinking. It's a triangle by design. Leo the Quicksilver, Hanks the ballast, Spielberg the metronome. And when the tempo clicks, the labor disappears. The scene just glides. This is how Spielberg uses star power, not as neon, as north. Charm pointed like a tool cut to rhythm, every grin a gear. By the end, it isn't a collar, it's a catch. The kid gets a future because the man across the desk sees who he is, not just what he did, and DiCaprio lets the adrenaline drain until all that's left is relief. DiCaprio shows that charm, used with discipline, is a director's tool, not a cheat, and Spielberg wields it like a dolly, moving us farther with ease. Joy on screen, oxygen off screen. That's what Robin gave Spielberg, every time. Hook starts him clenched, a grown-up who forgot his velocity. Then the switch flips. And when Peter remembers the sky, the whole set remembers childhood. Laughter as propulsion, wonder as muscle. While Spielberg was making the hardest film of his life, Robin called weekly. 15 minutes of stand-up down a thin wire. The pressure vented, the man steadied, the work continued. Generosity as craft support, not just kindness. A decade later, he's a flicker in a winter-cold world. Information delivered like a grin. A reminder that even exposition can feel humane when the voice carries warmth without weight. This is their method. Play that protects the day, looseness that never breaks the scene, the director who listens, the actor who lifts the room, and the crew that breathes easier because both are true. Robin treats delight like choreography. He hits marks with mischief, lets chaos read as design, and Spielberg shoots it like action. Clean eye lines, clean geography, clean laughs. Some actors serve the film, Robin served the people making it. And that kind of care, louder than applause, outlives the credits. Some roles are cast, this one was conjured. Spielberg needed the man or there was no movie. He speaks like a gentle hammer, anecdotes that bend policy, a whisper that somehow fills the walls, persuasion as choreography, patience as pressure. Spielberg stages politics like action, and Day-Lewis makes every breath a cut, every pause a cliff. The camera doesn't chase him, it trusts him, and the chamber becomes a fuse.
We're stepped out upon the world stage now. Now!
This is the decibel of the performance. Calm that accelerates the scene, urgency without volume, history moving at the speed of a thought.
Blood's been spilled to afford us this moment. Now! Now! Now!
He carries the country like a coat, worn and warm, the private man stepping into the public myth. And Spielberg holds, because the face can hold you. Day-Lewis lets Spielberg stage history as suspense, and that alchemy turns policy into pulse.
Stephen and I met, we just reckoned today, it was maybe 9 years ago.
Yeah.
The moral tuner, the quiet instrument Spielberg uses to pitch the room. He lowers the volume and the world leans in. Steadiness as oxygen, decency running the scene like a metronome. No speechifying, just gravity you can stand on. In the caper, the hush returns. A boy calls the cop because he has no one else. And Hanks plays the listener who keeps the kid from falling through the floor. He never begs for sympathy. He earns it. Commas in the cadence, patience in the eyes, comedy that breathes because the man refuses to grandstand. Diplomacy staged like suspense. He moves inches, not miles. And somehow the inches matter more. A lawyer who treats every life like a contract you honor. With Streep, he plays tempo, not triumph. Micro pauses that turn policy into peril. Newsroom noise tuned to a heartbeat you can follow. With Hanks, empathy never feels cheap. It feels earned, and Spielberg uses it to make decency cinematic. Reliability that reads as myth. That's Ford for Spielberg. Steady hands holding wild ideas still. He underplays swagger, dignifies the silliness, gives the stunt its soul. No wink, no smirk, just a man carrying a legend like it weighs what it should. The action reads honest because the face reads honest, sweat, grit, breath. Spielberg can push spectacle farther because Ford keeps the character human, foot by foot.
My left jacket pocket. What am I looking for?
This is how he plays wonder, small, contained, a private decision that opens a public gasp. The camera doesn't need fireworks when the actor gives you belief. He shares the frame like a pro, lets Connery's rhythm braid with his, comedy and danger in the same breath. Star power used as glue, not glare.
I didn't expect success. In the movie business, you always go in wanting to be successful, but you don't always expect to be. I did expect the first film would be wildly successful.
Spielberg calls that reliability something better, legacy. Ford's presence doesn't try to take the fame away from the film, because he is the fame. The benevolent ringmaster, velvet voice twinkle in the eye, that's Attenborough for Spielberg. He sells the dream without shouting, a host who seems to believe harder than anyone. Spared no expense as mantra, promise, prayer. Attenborough plays delight and doubt in the same breath. The entrepreneur and the grandfather, wonder lit bright, responsibility already in the shadow. Here the fantasy admits its cost, a small story that shrinks the park to a childhood ache, and Spielberg holds, because the face carries the truth.
Well, because when sap came off a tree and trapped the mosquito.
By the sequel, he turns from builder to guardian, ambition softened into stewardship, the voice that sold magic, now asking us to be careful with it. Attenborough lends Spielberg not just warmth, but wisdom, a host who can sell the dream and still teach the price, which is why Hammond feels like memory, not merchandise. He hunts for moments, fleeting, fragile, unforgettable, sometimes a single film, sometimes a lifetime, always a choice that holds. They gave him more than performance. They gave him reflection. In their silences, he found tension. In their breath, he found rhythm. And the scenes began to beat like a heart. He doesn't cast for noise, he casts for gravity, pull that holds a frame steady, weight that steadies the storm. And when an actor gives him that, he doesn't let go. They don't just fill his credits, they shape his language, turning feeling into form, scene by scene, frame by frame. What lasts isn't only the title on the poster, it's the way he tells the story now, a style written in human pulses, patience when it matters, pressure when it counts. Their names may fade from the crawl, but they're etched in the grammar, in how a pause lands, how a look holds, how a cut waits one more breath before it falls. Your turn. Who belongs at the top of this list? Whose gravity did you feel most? Drop it below, join the debate, help us map the canon. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more Studio Craft deep dives, we'll see you in the next one.